launched a company in 2015, right after suffering a coma, waking up from a coma after delivering her daughter who was stillborn. She went into septic shock. I just inadvertently talked about sepsis today in terms of this country, but that most people don't survive that, but she's here. And when she woke up, she had a mission to help women learn about their bodies, girls learn about their bodies. And she formed this company, Femly, FEMLY.com. Let me welcome Ms. Arion Long to the Karen Hunter Show. Thank you for being here.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
Listen, first of all, your bright smile. I was just telling this to Tyler, when you go through a thing and you come out the other side and you're still here, you're here because of something. You're here for a reason. So I see your smile. You are absolutely in your mission. How did Femly form?
Let me say, Karen, let me say real quick too. All the men that are listening right now, you need not tap out right now. Y'all need to lean in, because if you do not think that Femly does not affect men, y'all are on the wrong track. We are leaning into what you were saying. We're so thankful to have you on the show today. Sorry, Karen, go ahead.
No, it's perfect. Tell us about the birth of Femly.
Sure. So Femly was a concept that I started back in 2015. And at the time, I was, like many women, in corporate America and going through the woes of experiencing a reproductive issue. And so what happened was I went to a doctor because I was having crazy periods. And, for all the fellas on the call, you have a wife, sister, daughter, whatever, that sometimes things can get a little crazy. And what happened was my doctor let me know that I had a tumor linked to chemicals that were found in 90% of the feminine products at that time. And so I had this epiphany where I realized if condoms cause cancer, men would have a solution in the hour. But because many of these issues affect women, there wasn't a sustainable solution. So we started Femly as a feminine care box where we were shipping organic pads, body scrubs, chocolate, anything to make that week something you could look forward to. And then unfortunately, I ended up losing my daughter Sage to late-term stillbirth. And I fought for my life with E. coli sepsis that came from a UTI. I had a perfect pregnancy. A doctor prescribed me an antibiotic that was ineffective against E. coli. E. coli made it into my blood, and the rest was history. But what happened after that was I ended up winning a pitch competition about 2 weeks off of life support. And I used that funding to design the first smart touchless feminine care dispenser for bathrooms.
Wow.
And also, can I say, am I correct in saying this, that you've raised $2 million or so towards Femly? Is that correct? Am I right in saying that?
I think total, we're probably hovering around 2.8 million. And in the beginning, I knew that this was an investable company, but I was trying to get investment at a time where there were only 37 Black women in the history of the country. Wow. And so I knew that it would be an uphill battle. So I started applying for these Shark Tank style pitch competitions where you would go in front of a judge and, you have to talk about the market, your problem, why your solution is better. But I ended up winning more than 50 of those. And that funding was used to create the product. And once we got the product and the traction, we ended up getting funding from Beyonce, Pharrell Williams. We are now backed by Google. And I ended up becoming one of the first 100 Black women to get more than $1 million in investment capital.
Let's go. Yes, Arion Long. Where are you from originally?
I'm actually from New York. I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Long Island. My grandmother sang with the Shirelles for 40 years. And when she retired, we ended up in Prince George's County, Maryland.
Wow. First of all, the work that you're doing, and it's not just about, safe products. Hopefully it will, we saw Johnson & Johnson with the lawsuit, right? Because many people were using baby powder all over, and it caused cancer, right? And there were lawsuits, class action suits, and they're even thinking about splitting the company so that they can withstand that. But people over profit is what we should always put humanity, people over profit.
Yeah.
is there a shift in the market in the pads and tampons, and you even have a menstrual cup, which I don't know and understand how it works because I'm a little older. I don't know understand how that cup works. I don't know how you use it. I don't. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But tell us, Arion.
I love menstrual cups. Let me just say, for the people who are unaware, this is like a very flexible cup that you put up there. You cannot feel it at all. And it gives you 12 hours of protection during your cycle where you're not leaking. So that is a great new product that cuts down on that risk of toxic shock syndrome. But for us, it's been really interesting in that we started on the cusp of innovation. And so here in Baltimore, I have a friend whose father invented the microphone. And this is a Black man, Black in every sense of the word. But I remember going to him and saying, hey, I have this idea for this device. And, I'm talking to investors who don't see the value in my experience. I'm not an engineer. I went to Morgan State University. A lot of, investors from Silicon Valley don't even know where Morgan State is. But this inventor encouraged me to file my patent. And from there, it was almost a series of different people like buying in and helping us. But in addition to that menstrual cup, we have our smart dispensers where you walk up and you wave hello to get free organic feminine products. We patented sensors that work for Black and brown skin, unlike public faucets. And then we have 3 other additional devices that we're selling to organizations. So the business has changed a little bit, but that goal of increasing products and health education was always steadfast.
That is so brilliant. So if you have fibroids though, will that cup hold? Because fibroids make people bleed extremely a lot.
Yeah, they're
that cup
actually
can hold
enough fluid that you would have for your entire cycle. Like the amount that it holds is a crazy amount, but it cuts back on 4 of period issues.
I wish I was one of those dudes. I wish I was one of those dudes that was just like, oh, periods, they're natural and weird. This menstruation cup thing's got me a little twisted. I'm going to just go with, I'm sure it's fantastic. But let me just say something real quick. It's Arion, right? I don't want to make sure I get your name right.
Perfect. Yeah.
Arion, yo, when was the last time someone told you you are a badass? Like,
probably about 15 minutes ago.
Good. I hope so.
You better let them know.
Listen, because you are packed with, I don't think people completely understand everything that it takes to get to where you have gotten. And you're not getting there on just like some loose idea or concept or something. No. You are literally changing the world for women. You are doing that. And that's not only beautiful, that's not only brave, that doesn't only take tenacity to get that done, but it's obvious by the people that have stood behind you to do it. Can I ask you, outside of losing your daughter, which I can't, I don't even have the words for, when you dream of what the world looks like in 10 years, specifically with this field, what are the goals that you hope to attain and get to?
So I do want to say this, and thank you for acknowledging the journey, because my path to entrepreneurship and being a tech founder was anything but the average journey. I mean, my grandmother adopted 6 of us because our mom had an addiction to crack cocaine. So that's one. I was born in Brookdale Hospital, one of the worst hospitals within the borough of Brooklyn in New York. And I think for me, one of the things that I realized was that this path was more so about tenacity and an uncompromising drive to understand that every no is either a not now or you need to educate yourself a little more. So that was it. I think the thing is that I always knew that I would have a big impact. I am a daughter who started at Stony Brook University at 14 and Morgan State at 15. I met my husband the first day. Homeboy told me that I was too thick to be from up north and thought I was from Georgia, and I'm from New York. But anyway, I'm saying that to say that sometimes innovation looks like this. I don't know people more freaking innovative than Black women. I don't know people innovative than Black people.
Mm.
And so for me, I thought that I was starting what would be a hobby where I'm shipping feminine boxes. When that grew to 5,000 women paying $40 a month, I realized, oh, shoot, this is a business. And then when I would go into these restrooms and see this stainless steel machine that you needed a quarter for during a pandemic where we're in a coin shortage, I realized that like this company that has these dispensers is a $96 billion company. It's ripe for innovation. Why isn't anybody thinking about making it sexier, a better experience? And so for me, I'm building to sell. This is a play for me for both health equity, a vehicle for lessening some of the anger I have around my daughter, because anger is a fire that ignites me.
Yo.
Also a vehicle for maybe getting acquired for 500 million and crafting generational wealth that will allow me to become the investor, that will allow me to start the next business. I'm watching white men, and no dig to white men, I'm learning from many of them, but I'm watching white men lead the tech segment and come out billionaires. I have a friend that invested in Uber, $5,000. That investment is now worth 24 million. Like, when we talk about the path to generational wealth, for us, it's entrepreneurship. And what better way to do it than to operate in an industry like technology that has the vehicle for 100-fold, 100 times your return, you know? And it can be scary. We're looking at like artificial intelligence and things, but I think for me, once I dug my heels in and learned the language and how to talk about my company, it was like the rest was history.
Arion Long, Femly.com. I am sitting here producing in real time. I want you to come back on, spend longer time talking about the tech, the sensors. Will you come back? Because I want you to deconstruct what it looks like to even have that idea during a pandemic and then bring it to fruition, which is I want to say, first of all, Tyler, that was an amazing question that you asked. But, you know, it's obvious that she's a badass. It's obvious, you know, but beyond that, I feel like there are lessons that we can all learn in all of the areas that we work in just by following your story. So I would love for you to come back, Arion. Will you please?
1,000%. I just turned 34, by the way. So I'm sure there's a whole story.
When?
July 29th, like this past summer.
Okay, well, happy belated and early birthday, because you right in the middle. So, and you're 34, girl. You better. Anyway, yes,
girl. Listen,
right
I was
now
into women's vaginas when I was 34 too, but not in a healthy way. Lord help.
Well, Tyler, I'm gonna say less. But if anyone right now needs panty liners, regular pads, heavy pads, if you need a menstrual cup, try it out. Kick the tires. Let me know. Let me know about the menstrual cup. There's bundles on there as well for menstrual Maven. There's a menstrual Maven bundle. There's a queen bundle. There's a period positivity bundle. You get your bundles. Get all of that. Go to Femly, FEM, F as in Frank, EM as in Mary, LY.com. Get that. And then Arion's gonna be back to talk business on a Tuesday, on a Tech Tuesday, because that's where we need to also be. So I appreciate you. I thank you. I honor you. And what you're doing is fantastic. Thank you for all of this.
Let's go.
Thanks for having me.